What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. After Sound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here in this channel every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday morning, so come by and say hello. All right, guys, let's talk about the Rebellion timeline. So in the video that I put out yesterday, I talked about how we have 100 days of conflicts left, which really puts us at the end of October, right? In the last 1/3 of October. And if you think about it, that's almost 2 months until Rebellion is either sold out or burned out, right? If we go all the way until the final day, which at this point, I'm thinking that we will, unless, you know, something crazy happens. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the craziness that could ensue, because we are now sitting at under 4 million Rebellion packs available, right? We have 842,000 open, another 82,000 that are circulating, and circulating does include those which are staked on wagons, right? So these are just packs that are bought but not opened. The DAO is sitting on another 500,000, which again, I've talked about that in previous videos. That makes me a little nervous, but we're going to just move on beyond that for now. And then of course we have 4.5 million burned. So if we're looking at conflicts being 100 days away, roughly 100 days away, what we can take from that is that obviously we're not selling very many packs, if any. So the amount of packs that we will have left by the time conflicts are done, right? It's 25,000 a day, whether they're bought, sold, or burned, sold, burned, or sent to the DAO. So if it's 25,000 a day, that's roughly 2.5 million packs over the course of 100 days. So that gets us down to about 1.5 million, which will be available at that time in mid to late October. Now, that's going to be a chaotic time, because I think a lot of people are anticipating that, well, if conflicts end and there isn't anything going on with conflicts, if the team maybe wasn't able to implement something and maybe, you know, it gets pushed to 2025 or whatever is the case, if that happens, a lot of folks, myself included, are looking to potentially load up on Rebellion at that point, or at least holding off until that point. Now, 1.5 million packs is not a small amount by any means, right? I mean, considering the fact that we haven't even sold 1 million packs yet, another 1.5 million, I'm not saying that we would sell those, because we would have to see what kind of appetite there would be for the current cards that are open and on the market, as well as the packs that people might be offloading if they do not have any value being staked on wagons. Now, that being said, 82,000 packs is not that many, all things considered, when you look at Rebellion overall and the fact that we'll still have 1.5 million packs. But you know, it could still be a little bit of a detractor. And I don't think, or cannibalization is the word I wanted to use. I don't think that we are going to see that play out in the sense of, you know, people are just going to be rushing into Rebellion in October. I actually don't even think people will be rushing into Rebellion in November, unless, and this is the big unless, right, we get a massive amount of new players. So let's overlay this now with where the team is at in terms of wanting to incorporate heavy marketing being done with their new player experience and bringing the game to the masses, potentially getting a lot of folks out and about. Now, this is 3 months away. And if you listen to the People's Guild podcast with Yabamet, which is a fantastic episode, shout out to People's Guild, they're always killing it with great content. If you listen to that, Matt still does not have anybody in line for the marketing. Now, that's not to say that it can't be done in a relatively quick manner, but obviously the team's still very much focused on getting the product to a good place. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not going to happen. All I'm saying is that whatever marketing efforts, at least at this point, they haven't been started. Matt is still shopping around to see who is the right fit. In his words, he'll know it when he sees it, right? And again, I'm not like Matt's going to be the boss of that. He'll figure that out. I trust his judgment. My whole point with this is that it takes time to onboard someone. It takes time to get them to figure out and formulate a plan. So if we're talking about 3 months from now, roughly 3 months from now, I personally don't think we're going to have crazy marketing. I don't know that we're going to have a bunch of players coming in and checking out the game in October. Which leads me to, again, this is all speculation, but which leads me to the fundamental point of it's going to be a chaotic, crazy time, because if the demand is not coming in, but the supply is still very high, meaning that, you know, a lot of folks are letting go of the packs that they were holding on to, are no longer wanting to hold them on wagons. if the demand is only what we're seeing here and it doesn't increase as much as the supply is getting dumped on the marketplace, we could actually see even better prices for Rebellion. Now, going back to the new players, that is something that, again, keep in mind, packs are going to be sold until December. So maybe, that is a full 5 months, I guess, from now. Maybe there's some folks that start trickling in. Maybe we start to do stuff towards the end, and maybe the end of Rebellion looks a little bit like the end of Untamed, which would be awesome, right? But at least in terms of October, I'm thinking unless we get a couple of things, right? Unless there's something with conflicts, unless the team has talked about what the next set is going to look like and the time frame for when that next set is going to be available, I'm thinking that it's going to be a lot of the same, a lot of like what people are feeling right now. And I don't mean to say this in a disparaging way. I'm just saying like it's probably just going to be status quo, right? We're just going to keep going with this. Hardcore players and believers will continue playing and stacking SPS and stacking cards and whatever the case is, but there won't be a crazy shift in the overall ecosystem due to new demand coming in. It'll be demand from existing players, but also supply from existing players. And looking at the numbers right now, I don't know. There's still a lot of extra supply. So when does this all kick in? Well, I guess what I'm trying to say, the whole point of this video is that October is going to be a very interesting time, but I don't think October is going to be when obviously, even people from who've been around the game for a while will start buying in or start buying, packs en masse. That I really don't think that that's going to happen until December. So looking ahead, 100 days of conflicts, right? New player experience getting finalized, maybe marketing starting. I was thinking October would be a really interesting time to buy. I'm now thinking I'm going to wait until November, right? And again, this is all fluid, right? We'll have to wait and see what the team does. There's too many moving parts here. There's too many factors that could come in and come into the mix. But at least at this point in time, I'm looking at, the value of the set, and I'm going to show a chart that's going to make people upset. But, I'm looking at the value of the set, and it's continuing to go down, and there's just nothing in my, honest, objective purview looking forward that says it's not going to continue this way. You can see we're down to $4,300, right? And this is 3 months before conflicts are over. Now, all this being said, I'm not trying to be bearish here. That's not my point. In fact, I'm looking at this as a potential opportunity if we continue the way that we're going. I know the team is working hard to try and get all this stuff done and button up everything so that we can bring marketing in. But I'm just looking at that realistically and saying, well, there might be a little bit of a time period between when conflicts are over, stuff gets dumped on the market, and when new players actually come in. And that's going to be the sweet spot, right? So October, November. I'm officially thinking November now, just because there'll be again a lot of stuff coming off of the wagons, in my opinion. But again, that is just the time frame I'm looking at right now. Obviously, somebody's going to look at this and say, well, $4,000 to get into the newest set is either expensive or cheap. Again, that's all relative to whether you bought it at double the value or you're coming in now, or you get it for potentially cheaper in the future. But at this point in time, that's kind of where my head is at. I'm still looking at those days. I'm still looking at that time frame. Again, mostly November now. But the main thing is also keeping in mind just how many packs are going to be available in the store. Because, and here's the beautiful thing about this, right? I think it could actually be a really interesting time if demand picks up with the player base enough. I don't know if it will, but if it picks up with the player base, if it picks up with the general crypto market overall, if new players are coming in checking out the game, there will be the sweet spot time, right? Probably between early November and mid-December when Rebellion is out, a month and a half in which people will be able to still get packs for $4 a pop. Right? So if demand spikes up to the moon, which would be awesome, right? That's not what I'm counting on, but let's say it does. It's still a net win for everybody. But if it does do that, you'll still be able to go and buy packs, and they'll still be 1.5 million, or at least over 1 million at that point in time between November and December. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Has your strategy changed? What are you focusing on for your Rebellion strategy, either now or in the future? Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to this now. There's only 3 conflicts left. And at this point, I'm watching the charts and I'm trying to see when the best entry point will be. I still think late October, November is going to be the time frame. But now that I know how many packs are going to be available and where the team is at from a marketing perspective, I'm really, really targeting, again, I mean, maybe late October, but definitely November, I think is going to be an interesting time for the game, for the ecosystem, and hopefully for Bitcoin and crypto as well overall, which will make it a fun time around the ecosystem. But that is all I have for you guys in this video. I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.